This episode of Unforkable is sponsored by nobody. However, one person really deserves a special shout out for the contribution to this podcast, namely the design of the logo and the podcast cover art. Those were done by a talented young designer called Quentin. In our briefing, he told me that it was his girlfriend's daughter that helped him pick the colors and gradients of the Unforkable logo.
Yeah, so we had crazy gradients was an idea from my my girlfriend's daughter, and she was looking over she's 7 years old, and she was looking over my shoulder when I was designing it, and she wanted pink, she wanted yellow, and she wanted blues, and all that kind of things.
If you too need help with design work, you should consider hiring Quentin. You can find his contact information on his Instagram page, @QuentinTheDesigner. Everything together, no hyphen. Please follow @QuentinTheDesigner on Instagram. But now, let's start the show. Hello everyone, this is Jonas. I'm the host of Unforkable, a podcast that aims to make crypto more fun, engaging and accessible for everyone. In this episode, we get to know 3 artists who are also raising awareness for crypto. However, they are doing it by making music about their favorite blockchain projects. One could say they are quite literally spreading the gospel on blockchain and crypto, pun intended. Today we get to know the artist who made one of the very first crypto rap songs ever. His name is Toby Ganger, and some of you might remember him from TV.
We had a music video that was on MTV that was playing for a while, and we were featured on the front page of MySpace.
In the next segment we got to know Lil Bubble. The spacesuit-wearing internet sensation from Australia is making parody songs on YouTube. Thanks to Twitter, Lil Bubble blew up basically overnight.
After that, 500 followers to overnight, just thousands and thousands per day. It was pretty crazy.
In the last part you hear how 88&8, a rapper based in Las Vegas, wrote not only a song, but a whole album about crypto. All of that with the goal to spread the message about Bitcoin, and yes, maybe flex a little bit along the way as well.
Because crypto is kind of becoming like a cool thing. It's becoming like a cool thing, especially the more these mainstream rappers talk about it.
Many of you may have never heard a crypto-related rap song ever. So before we start with the interviews, let's get in the mood. I asked my friend DJ Mitch Cuts if he would produce a musical collage with some of the guests' music. Luckily he said yes. So without further ado, DJ Mitch Cuts, let's hit it.
Of a global revolution of economics and politics and government. Welcome to the blockchain. Power corrupts, money is power. The power to control the money is one that is now in the hands of those who pretend we can't function without them. So how can we do something about it? Working hard to get a raise, lifting that wage up. Inflation takes it like a hidden taxation. Manipulated interest rates to give the banks a way to create money with the loans that they giving out.
My wife still doesn't believe in me. Litecoin, Bitcoin, Zilliqa, and Icon, V-Chain, Verge, I can buy them on my iPhone. Yeah, I gotta have all the low stats. Buy an all-time high, to my surprise, I never go back. Ride my alts down to all-time lows. I'm gonna buy till I can't no more. I'm gonna buy these alts cause they're oversold. I'm gonna buy till I can't no more. I got my altcoins by the bag, emotionally attached. Throw them on my back, got my ledger on my neck. Buying all these shit coins, you can keep your Bitcoin. I am broke as hell, but I will never sell. I'm never selling nothing. I'm not selling nothing. I'm never selling nothing. I'm not selling nothing.
Tell Khaled I got crypto keys. Investing money just to get more cheese. You paying taxes, I don't get Brooklyn, homie, your new way to block games. Take that fucking block change, put it on the blockchain. Hey, I got that digital gold. Hey, I got that digital gold. Hey, I got that digital gold. I got that digital gold. Hey, I got that digital gold. Hey, I got that digital gold. Hey, I got that digital gold. Two twin Teslas, winter falls whipping. Celebrate 'cause I'ma do it how I bossed it. I don't feel like we winning till we all get it. Don't talk to me, bro, unless you talk digits. If it ain't dollars, then it still makes sense to me. All money digital, motherfucking print money. If it ain't dollars, then it still makes sense to me. All money digital, motherfucking print money. Crypto game, big game, all game, light game, cash game, blockchain. Whoa, I don't really ever buy stocks, man. Haters wanna say I'm in a bubble, man. Chew 'em up like bubble gum. Just made a meal with my pocket change. Record about to go and join the huddle gang. Huddle gang, huddle gang, huddle gang. Ethereum pays for my rent. Bitcoin pays for the vent. Litecoin pays for the jet. Bitcoin cash for the rest. Spent 30 racks on an ICO. What coin did you buy? I forgot, yo. Just got started last night, bro. And I'm already making so much money.
Welcome to the blockchain. Things are about to change. Open up the gates. Systems get replaced. Bitcoin. Decentralize the trust. Security, transparency. The networks run by us. Bitcoin.
So, yeah, that last song you just heard is called Welcome to the Blockchain, and that one was done by Toby Ganger. And as I said earlier, it is one of the earliest crypto rap songs that I could find online. But before diving right into our conversation, I had one question I wanted to ask Toby. Would it be the worst possible way to start this interview just to go back and ask you who is Toby with the curly hair? What does that mean?
Wow. With the wavy hair, you mean, or what?
Oh, with the wavy hair. Yeah, that's it.
Wow. That is from a Disney sing-along video that I did about 25 years ago.
Wow.
And one of the songs had that as a lyric as I was dancing with Minnie Mouse.
All right. Okay. So that's a pretty big gap to rapping about Bitcoin and blockchain.
Yes, that was many worlds ago. That was, I think I was probably, about 12 years old back then. So that was about the time that I actually started to rap. So,
is that just a thing people do in LA?
I'm sure it would be more prevalent here than in other places, but it's still not normal.
Yeah, did you have your parents were there in this industry, or? No,
my dad was a professor, and then he actually had a government job, and then my mom was a computer programmer.
Okay, and I see there already a little theme. Your mom was a computer programmer, and then many years later, after Disney, somehow the Bitcoin or blockchain bug took over. And what I found interesting is you did one of the very, very, very early songs about blockchain. It's now almost 5 years ago when you released that song.
Yeah. Let's see. The song, I think, was released in November of 2014, like you said. I actually got into Bitcoin in the summer of 2012. And at the time, I was teaching economics. So my interest in it came through that. And so I also had an interest in game theory as well. So the combination of this sort of Austrian economics and game theory, the juxtaposition of the two really fascinated me right from the beginning. Although my first instinct when learning about it was, this is ridiculous. It's never going to work.
So 2012, you fell kind of in the very skeptically and reluctantly first. You got to know Bitcoin. And then 2 years later, you released what became one of the Bitcoin or blockchain anthems. What happened there?
Well, as I said, my first instinct was this will never work. And then I started to research it more. I was like, oh, this will work, but the government will never allow it to happen. And then as I researched it further, I was like, oh, it doesn't really matter whether the government allows it to happen or not. It's going to happen. And at that point, I kind of realized it was going to be, I personally think it's going to be bigger than the internet itself as an invention. I got very passionately into it, started sort of evangelizing it to friends and family and anybody I could get in touch with. And of course, almost no one listened. And around 2014, one of the people who had listened to me was this producer that I sometimes work with, who's currently based out of San Francisco. And he was in town, and we were just talking about it. He's like, man, you should make a song about it. I was like, a song, really? And, eventually he talked me into it. And the market had crashed at the end of 2013. And it ran all the way up to something like $1,100, and then it crashed down. I don't even remember where it bottomed out. I think it ended up bottoming out like at $180 or something. Something like that. And I think the mood in the community was somewhat down in general at that time. We had a long bear market, and we were just thinking, we believe in this technology. We believe in where it's going. Let's try to create something that can sort of energize the community, that they can have something that they could listen to them and make them feel excited and passionate about it again. At least that was the goal. And then if new people were to come on, this would hopefully be somewhat educational while simultaneously be something that's enjoyable to listen to. So that was what we were striving for. And I know to some extent we met that goal, and, got a lot of love from the community, got a lot of tips early on when people were still giving Bitcoin tips, because we gave it away for free,
Yeah, I've seen that. I even checked the Bitcoin address. I don't know if you took out of it, but now it's like almost 2 Bitcoins on that address, which I found.
Yeah, I think there was about 2 coins total that we got from it, more or less. So we ended up basically with about a coin each. I mean, at the time, it wasn't that much. It was maybe, a couple $100, but obviously now that's significantly more. But, we got a lot of plays on it. I think with all the different media combined, it's probably like 250,000 plays, something like that. And
were you aware of any other songs at the time about Bitcoin at all?
At the time, there was only, I know there was that, what's his name? It was like a country song. I'm trying to remember what it was called. Something about Satoshi, I think.
That's a name I love to say, and we don't know much about him, but he came to save the day. When he wrote about the way things are and the way things ought to be, he gave us all a protocol this world had never seen.
I just thought that somebody should make an original song, and somebody should make something that sounds more like the demographic that is likely to adopt this technology, which I think is, younger people who are much more likely to not have a prejudice against digital cryptocurrencies.
Wow. Okay. That sounds like you had like a very strategic plan. I mean, what I noticed was, okay, it is educational. It's like very well thought through. It's basically Bitcoin in a nutshell in musical form.
I guess that's kind of what we're trying to do. And it ends up being a little bit nerdy, obviously, but that's what we're trying to do. It's just like, this is why we need this, and this is why it's such a big thing. I remember talking to all of the people the musicians who played on the song, the singer who sang on the song, and the recording engineers in the studio, all about Bitcoin. And absolutely none of them listened to me.
Oh man, okay. That sounds like me trying to explain what my podcast is about to my friends who are not into Bitcoin at all, I also feel that the song is very optimistic, Now, almost 5 years later, do you think that Bitcoin / the blockchain lived really up to the hopes?
I think it's moving in the right direction in terms of adoption, in terms of second and third layer development that's happening on it. Just in terms of, you see what's going on around the world in terms of sovereign debt and inflation and things like that. Even sanctions on economies. Bitcoin has literally been a lifesaver. All these problems exist to some extent across every major country in the world. They just haven't manifested to the fullest extent as they have in other places. I think you're in Switzerland, right? I think all of government bonds now are negative interest rates in Switzerland. This is insane. And here in the U.S., we have, $20+ trillion of national debt and 200 trillion plus of unfunded liabilities, right? And so all of this has to come crashing down at some point. And when it does, to have something that's outside of the national money system or the stock markets is going to be, in my opinion, a safe haven for much of the world to run to at this point. So it's like a network where, cell phones or email or something like that, where each additional person, each additional node on the network adds function, adds utility to it. And so the increasing adoption, which is visualized often by the price, is an example of it becoming more useful. I'm happy with where it is now. I'm happy with the direction it's going in. And I think it's only going to speed up.
If you would write a new song today, what would it be about? I mean, a crypto song.
I think if I were to write one today, I tend to be leaning a little bit more on the side of Bitcoin maximalism, in the sense of that most of these other coins will die out in some form or another. So if I were going to do a song now, I think I would make it more along those lines, maybe to steer people away from other stuff. But again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, that surprises me. But like, this song is very, it's very neutral. I mean, it is about Bitcoin, but you say also, like, Bitcoin is the first enterprise ever of the blockchain. So you talk more broadly about the blockchain. And nowadays, I feel that tribalism became a very, very present thing in the blockchain space. With when you say Bitcoin maximalists, and then people who are becoming other crypto maximalists or fighting online. Do you participate at all in those kind of discussions?
I watch them with amusement sometimes. I mean, it's like anything else. Like you said, it's tribalism. I see tribalism everywhere. I live in the U.S. This country is rooted in tribalism. I see it everywhere. No matter which coin you're looking into, everybody thinks that this is the one coin to end them all, and all other ones are shit coins. And I don't really pay attention to it, because it's obviously people are being emotional about it, right? Because they have skin in the game. They've invested money in this coin. And so it's very hard to look at it rationally when you have so much riding on its success.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get it. And when it comes to the long run, still, like I said, I have evolved somewhat to be more of a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't know if that means that everything else will die out. I don't know, or if they'll just play a small role in some capacity, or I could just be wrong entirely, like I said. So, so I'm basically going off sort of my economic intuitions.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of economic intuitions, I mean, when you back then in 2012, when you invested, did you hold the Bitcoin? Did you do well? Could you hold on to it during these ups and downs, which were absolutely crazy?
I did. The thing is, like I said, when I initially bought, I didn't have any money at all. I was completely broke. So you're talking about scrounging together a few $100 that I could find, which was everything that I had at the time. And this is in 2012. So it's not like I'm balling today. I'm not. But I did hold on to what I did have until, much later, because in spite of the fact that we were struggling to get by, I knew where this was going to go. And I said, I will not sell any of this until it reaches a minimum of this price. So did I do well off of it? Yeah, it was a very successful investment. I wish at the time I had some legitimate money to put into it so that I could be very comfortable now, but c'est la vie.
It's always like that, right? I mean,
yeah.
I feel the same way about many opportunities. However, that doesn't take the pleasure out of it.
I mean, I'm extremely grateful that I had such an opportunity to come across in my lifetime, because it hasn't made me like wealthy or anything, but it's definitely gotten my life out of a hole and given me opportunities to explore other things as well, and given me opportunities to make some other investments and things like that. So I'm definitely very grateful for that.
Another question is, speaking of success, from what I have seen online, I would say that Bitcoin song, the blockchain song, is the most successful song of yours. Would you say that's a fair description?
Probably. I mean, I think about when I was in a group before. I was a solo artist. I was in a group called Inverse, and we had a song back in the day called So Far. We had a music video that was on MTV that was playing for a while, and we were featured on the front page of MySpace.
Oh wow! Okay, I have to check that out. So have you never been tempted to do another one?
I have. I've been tempted. I've had people contact me too. It's interesting. From other coins wanting me to do songs about that, like a Litecoin song. Somebody wanted me to do what was it back? Oh, like a BitShare song back then. I don't feel tempted to try to one up. I think that song's a pretty good balance of what needs to be said while still being somewhat musically enjoyable. And it's like, well, just let it be.
Autonomous businesses are possible when profit is distributed amongst those adopting it. Paradigm shift, we must adjust to the end. And with the blockchain, Bitcoin is just the beginning.
Welcome to the blockchain.
In the next conversation, we get to know Lil Bubble, who takes a very different approach to crypto music. His songs don't explain crypto or spread it to a wider public. Lil Bubble makes parody songs for a very specific audience. Crypto traders. The people who study the price charts and try to make a quick buck selling and buying their favorite coins. Unsurprisingly, crypto traders have their own memes and insider jokes, like going to the moon, and Lil Bubble knows all of them. In his videos, Lil Bubble dresses up in a full-body spacesuit, so no one knows who he really is. So let's find out who is behind the character Lil Bubble and what drives him.
Hey, what's up? I'm the artist behind Lil Bubble, who you've probably seen singing stupid songs about shitcoins in a spacesuit on the internet.
Hey Lil Bubble, welcome to the interview. So tell us, how did you come up with Lil Bubble, the character?
The character Lil Bubble himself is a cliche, or just built on a stereotypical, basically a culmination of all of the crypto environment and the memes, and we're going to the moon, and basically the meme culture within crypto that I base the character off, really.
So how's Lil Bubble day to day like? Is that your full-time gig, or what are you doing in your professional life?
No, not at all. I'm actually a graphic designer. That's my full-time job. But my main passion outside of that has always been music, which has really been my main passion throughout my life since I was a young kid.
But did you have, like a origin story, or do you remember like when you were a kid, what you were doing with music?
I'll just make parody songs about stupid jokes that only me and my friends could understand. So like we thought it was funny. No one else would even know what it was about. But since then I've sort of I don't know, it just became like a natural sort of fit. It wasn't forced at all. I just had a few funny ideas for crypto songs. I could apply the skills that I'd sort of picked up and developed over the years. And looking back, it wasn't until sort of later on in the piece that I realized that this is just exactly what I used to do when I was a kid. Just make funny songs about jokes and things that were funny to myself and my friends. But the only difference now is that I guess it can be appreciated by a few more people thanks to the internet and thanks to like the crypto community and the fact that there's so many people in the space that sort of understand the same jokes. And yeah, that's where it really went from there.
So how did you start out then with Lil Bubble, like your first music you put out, and then how did it feel to go from the first step to thousands and thousands of followers? Like, that's crazy.
I honestly had no idea if anyone would like it. I wrote a number of songs and I recorded a number of songs before I even put the first one out. So I had a bit of a backlog there, and I'd shown like maybe 2 or 3 friends that I've got who are still sort of involved in the crypto space in any way. And they thought it was funny. They didn't say it was the best thing they've ever seen or anything. They was like, yeah, that's pretty funny. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's pretty funny. Hopefully I'm not the only one. So I put it out there. But as you said, like, I'm wearing a spacesuit, like no one knows who I am. And that's the beauty of the character as well. I can just act like a complete idiot, and just my main aim when I'm either writing the music or making the video is to just do the stupidest things I can think of. Like, it's supposed to be a complete joke. The first song I put out was When Moon, the sort of acoustic rendition of Mad World, which I think was, is it on Donnie Darko, or it's on, I think it was made famous, it was on a certain movie soundtrack, that this particular version of Mad World. But that was the first one, and it did pretty well. It did a lot better than I expected.
All around me are my heavy shit coins. No more Bitcoin. No more Bitcoin. Spent it all on Tron. I have weak hands though. Where's my Lambo? Where's my Lambo? And I find it kind of funny. I find it kind of sad.
And yeah, so that one went pretty well. And not long after that, I actually, the All Time Lows came about pretty quick. I think it wasn't one of the songs that I had written previously or it was in the backlog. It was something that I sort of instantly thought of. So the song Old Town Road, everyone has sort of heard it, and I'd probably heard it 100 times before it sort of clicked as a potential crypto parody. And I don't really remember where I was when it happened, but I just sort of, the hook sort of come to me like, I'm going to ride these alts down to all-time lows. And that's usually my process. Like, the song has to sort of stand out as like, okay, that might work. And then I'll sit there and maybe write a few lines. And if those lines come naturally, then I think I've got a winner and I finish the song pretty quickly.
Got my old coins by the bag, emotionally attached. Throw them on my back, got my ledger on my neck. Buying all these shit coins, you can keep your Bitcoin. I am broke as hell, but I will never sell. I'm never selling nothing.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. That one went really crazy. Can you tell me, how did that song like get picked up by the cryptosphere and grow?
That's the one that really snowballed. And yeah, as you said, it just went crazy. Like, I'd never seen anything like that. Like, my notifications, I couldn't even keep up. My Twitter account was like it was maybe 500 followers or something when I put that song out. And like, there's a few very big Twitter accounts in the crypto space, like guys that have been in the game for a few years and sort of pushing the content pretty hard. And I guess they caught wind of it and retweeted it, and that's all it takes, really. Like, I guess Twitter's probably, in terms of going viral, I think Twitter's maybe one of the best purpose-built platforms for that, purely because of the retweet button. After that, like, sort of 500 followers to overnight, just like thousands and thousands per day. It was pretty crazy.
So how do you cope with such a huge growth or basically overnight success? How does that feel?
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming. Like I said, that's the main feeling was just complete overwhelm. Like, I wouldn't go as far to say it's panic, because I guess it could get a lot bigger. Like, if you if you become a superstar overnight, I guess you'd almost panic. But like this was just overwhelmed, like just the notifications and the DMs really like. But yeah, it was cool. Like it obviously feels good. Like you try not to let that sort of thing go to your head because it doesn't last forever. Like it, and it's dangerous, I guess. Like it's a slippery slope to sort of, if that becomes the norm, and then the next time you put something out, it doesn't perform that well. Like you feel bad. So like there's two sides to that sort of thing. Like, and I guess you just sort of got to not let that get to your head and just focus on having fun with it, and what will be when you post it out to the world.
Prior to the interview, we were talking, and you told me that some people are giving you a hard time on the internet because they think it's investment advice, which I think it's quite obvious from the videos you're putting out that it's not investment advice. So let's turn this around and ask you for investment advice. What would you tell them?
Oh, mate, you don't want investment advice from me. Okay, if I was to give any advice, it would be learn risk management, how to use a stop loss. That's basically it. Like, don't invest more than you're willing to lose, and just be responsible about it. And definitely don't take advice from astronauts singing parody songs on YouTube.
I think that's sound advice. Speaking of your personal preferences, when you see the videos of you, you always make fun of shit coins and basically, like making fun of bad investments, etc. So where do you personally stand? Which coins do you like? Are you a Bitcoin maximalist? Where are you personally standing on these issues?
I'm definitely not a Bitcoin maximalist, but I do strongly, maybe prefer Bitcoin as like a long-term investment vehicle if you were to ask. Like, but I think altcoins have a place, and like, yeah, look, it's more just like poking fun. I just poke fun at everything, including myself. Like, we all know, like anyone who's tried to trade has lost money at some point. Anyone who has been a hodler has lost money definitely over the last couple of years. So it's more so, yeah, making jokes about making stupid decisions, and really like the character and the content, I suppose, really exaggerates these poor decisions. So that's one thing that a lot of people have said, that I may be promoting, like bag holding, or making it, I guess you'd say, normalizing poor investment decisions, which is something I definitely don't want to do. And I would have thought that it's pretty obvious by the content that I'm really making fun of these things, and I'm wearing a ledger on a plastic gold chain, for God's sake, holding garbage bags. Like, I'm not telling anyone to put all their savings into shit coins, but yeah, I'm really just having fun and hopefully making a few other people laugh.
I'm just a moon boy, looking for a rocket, a coin that knows how to move without ever dropping.
In the next and last segment, I had the pleasure to talk to an up-and-coming rapper based in Las Vegas, who goes by the name of 88 and 8. His Bitcoin anthem, Digital Gold, dropped on YouTube right before the peak of the crypto bull run in December 17. Encouraged by the positive reception of that track, he decided to release an entire crypto-related album titled The Ledger Volume 1. Please enjoy my conversation with the 88 and 8.
I'm 88 Nate, creator of Digital Gold, the crypto song that's blowing up on YouTube and all platforms right now. But I'm just an artist out of Las Vegas, looking to come up.
All right. You said you're out in Las Vegas, and I have never been to Vegas, but I imagine that Vegas is a city where money is omnipresent. You have like the Vegas Strip, the casinos, the lights, all that stuff. And you have like places where fortunes are made and lost in seconds. Do you think that kind of influences you or people who live there and their relation to money?
Well, yeah, when you come out here, there's definitely a lot of temptation, to lose your money. But I mean, pretty much my brother is like, Josh, the one you talk to, like, he's like Now I don't want to say a financial advisor, but he keeps me, advised on my finances. So I don't really have that problem, like, with gambling too much or, spending excess money or nothing like that. You gotta be smart. You gotta be smart with the money, man.
I agree, but I mean, in relation to crypto, which also goes like up like crazy and down like crazy sometimes. Do you think, like, if you live in Las Vegas, this seems just more normal for people?
No, because I've never seen anything as volatile as Bitcoin. Like one day it's super high, and then 3 hours later it's super low. Like, nah. So I don't think there's any like correlation between the two.
And when you wrote Digital Gold, I've seen that on YouTube it was released like December 2017, and like right in that crazy bull run of Bitcoin.
Yeah, it was the perfect time for it. I'm gonna tell you how the story came to be. I didn't know anything about Bitcoin. It was my brother who once again advised me. We were in the studio, we were recording something else, another track, and he was like, "Yo, you got to make a song about crypto." I'm like, what the hell is crypto? Like, what is that? Like, he always talking some weird stuff, so I didn't know like what it was particularly. And I was like, what is that? And he was like, it's currency. I buy it. I was like, okay, so you using money to buy money. That doesn't make sense. Is it a commodity? And then he was like, it's digital gold. And then I was like, oh, okay. So then, my producer sent me a beat and we just came up with the song.
Your brother, Josh, he is really, he's very crucial to this process.
Yeah. He definitely advises me. He's like my manager, and he keeps me up on things.
Shout outs to him. Thank you to him.
Yeah. Shout out to Josh, man. Shout out to Josh.
So he advised you on that as well, and he made sure you keep your hands off the BitConnect.
I researched BitConnect, and we were both talking about, oh yeah, this seems like a scam. Like look at all these dudes promoting this. Like, it seems kind of like a scam. So he hit me to that, like, and I researched everything before I did the song. Like, and then after I researched it, I actually bought some crypto. I actually bought some Bitcoin. Not a lot, not much, but I mean, I bought in, and I actually sent my brother the money. He bought it for me because I didn't know how to do it at first. But yeah, so we pool our money together and we buy, crypto.
How did you weather the bear market afterwards, 2018? Right? Right after you dropped the song, it collapsed.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. We just you just hold. You just hold through. One thing I learned is you never invest more than what you're willing to lose. That's a good rule of thumb, and we stick to that.
Definitely, that's good advice, I would say.
Definitely.
So one song on the letter is called "Winklevoss Whippin'."
Yeah.
Can you what does that mean, or can you explain to people who haven't heard this? Who the Winklevoss?
Two twin tests are? Winklevoss Whippin'. Okay, so when I was doing my research and I came across the Winklevoss twins, two twin Teslas, Winklevoss Whippin'. Basically, I'm saying like, okay, there's two Teslas of the same kind, but they're twins, Winklevoss Whippin', like twins like the Winklevoss. So that's basically the meaning behind it. So it's basically like a flex, pretty much. I don't know if you know what that means in Switzerland, but yeah, it's like,
I know what it means, but I'm glad. I think not everybody of the audience will know what it means. But it's basically like showing off, right?
Yeah, basically like, I'm taking pride in like having this right now, like basically. Yeah, so that's what the song Winklevoss Whippin' was about.
Another one that stood out to me is called FTF.
Oh.
What does that one stand for?
Fuck the Fed. So it's basically, fuck the Fed, fuck the Federal Reserve, and, the people that's trying to, regulate Bitcoin and block Bitcoin and like, keep feeding us the dollar, which is, going to be pretty much worthless soon.
So when you do songs like that, how do you, like inform yourself about I mean, the Fed is really a complicated thing, I would assume, right?
I've always been like, politically outspoken to a certain extent. I mean, in my music, but I mean, I doubt it back a lot because, the politics in the United States right now are just like, I don't really, really want to speak on it. Like, people get angry and like, want to target you and stuff like that. So, so when I'm doing a song like that, I just, I research what is the Fed doing? Like, how is it affecting Bitcoin? How is it affecting us? How is the dollar being printed over and over and over and over and over again to keep us in debt, affecting, society? So yeah, it's basically fuck the Fed.
Which is, would you say, the biggest crypto rapper you know, or who has at least dropped a line on crypto?
Like the biggest mainstream artist?
Yeah.
I would say Big Sean. Big Sean is the biggest artist that I've ever heard say anything about crypto. I think he said he could put a girl through college with crypto.
Okay.
Basically, that's what he was saying. Few coins that'll buy a few semesters.
I might buy a red bottoms with the crypto. 3 coins that'll pay a whole semester. But you got it.
But just recently, I listened to Rick Ross' album, and he said something about the currency coming crypto. I was like, oh, okay, so it's getting out there now, man. It's getting out there.
I mean, also, I think crypto and rap, it somehow goes together very well, because rap is so much about money and flexing, as you said, that flexing about crypto, it's a natural match somehow, I would say.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. You know how rappers all talk about, I got all this money, I got all this money. So I'm trying to say, basically, I'm trying to make crypto the equivalent to that. That's what I try to do, like to keep the youth entertained, pretty much. Because if you can put the youth onto it, then it's going to blow up, and mass adoption will be way, will come way sooner.
I heard about like studies that show that like the youth, actually, they're very, very skeptical of buying stocks. They would never like touch stocks or barely touch it.
Right.
But crypto, like they put all their money in crypto. If that, money.
Yeah, because crypto is kind of becoming like a cool thing. It's becoming like a cool thing, especially the more these mainstream rappers talk about it.
But I mean, I love crypto. That's why I do the podcast. However, I'm very cautious as well, because it can ruin. You have to be smart doing it, right?
Oh, it can ruin your life. When Ledger Volume 2 comes, I got a song on. I'm just telling you now. I got a song on Ledger Volume 2. Ledger Volume 2, I made it specifically about crypto. Like, so it's basically the ups and downs of crypto. So it's gonna be like 7 to 8 songs, and the first half is like the ups, all the flexing. Yeah, we here. The second half is like the downs. So it's like for bulls and then for bears, kind of like that.
Looking forward, when will that drop, more or less?
We're trying to get it out in November.
Right,
it's really cool
for the next bull run.
Yeah, for the next bull run. Yeah.
So, do you think like crypto rap is a legitimate way of, or spreading the message, spreading the gospel, so to say?
I'm gonna tell you something a fan told me, and shout out to this fan. His name is Bitcoin Jake. So I was on PS4 playing. I forgot. I was just streaming live one day, and he came in there, and we started talking about crypto or whatever. And then he started talking about my song Digital Gold, how he loves it. It's one of his favorite songs or whatever. And he said, bro, before you came like into the crypto like music space, it was all just corny. It was all just jokes and parody music. And I said, you know what, man, I'm inclined to agree, because, when I did my research, I looked up, crypto artists and crypto music, and I was just like, this is a joke, bro. Like, why are they making all the videos funny? This is a joke. Like, we gotta make this serious. Like, because if you make it too corny, then, the youth and the people watching are gonna think, oh man, this is a joke. This is corny. Like, nah, you gotta flex a little, man. You gotta, like, that's why I wanted to, make a cool song.
That's when I heard it first. That was exactly what I felt too. Like the songs I've heard before were all, as you said, like parodies. I mean, there's this guy Coin Daddy. I mean, he raps. He's legit in rapping, but he's a parody himself. So,
bro, that's yeah. Well, I'm just keeping my opinion to myself, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk shit about him because I hope he will be on the show. I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
Shout out to Coin Daddy. But yeah.
I mean, what I have to respect about it, to be honest, is like he doesn't rap so bad. I mean, it's a parody for sure, but he puts a lot of effort in. Like he wrote a whole song about like the like very specific little tales and stories in crypto. So I think he tries to, his target base is the people who are already in the crypto space. But you have the possibility to reach people from outside as well.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Get the people who don't know anything about crypto, like me. I didn't know anything, and get those people to come in and start buying into crypto.
By the way, you made a track called Satoshi's Back Part 2.
That is one of my favorite songs, bro. Like, that's one of my favorite songs.
So, but where is Part 1? I didn't find Part 1 anywhere.
Part 1 got deleted for copyright infringement because I used a Drake beat and just annihilated this Drake beat. Like, just rapped. It was crazy. I'm gonna send it to you. Just drop me an email and I'm gonna send you Part 1.
That's it. That's the end of this show. A huge thank you to all the guests. You can find the links to their socials in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to rate and review. Additionally, please visit unforkable.cc and sign up for the Unforkable Insiders newsletter.